Welcome to another weekend of Black College experience, another weekend of Black College sports. We are doing a recap of everything that has gone on this week. It's been a very busy week. I spent my evening at the Black College Football Hall of Fame enshrinement here over at the Chick-fil-A College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia, and what a time it was. So we're going to kind of unpack that and talk about all the different things that happened over there, including the Black College Football Player of the Year, and some different things that's going on, of course, around every conference and all the different things that has happened this week in Black college sports. Derek is over in Baton Rouge. Derek, what's going on?
Man, I'm still tired from checking out a few parades this past weekend in New Orleans for of course, the annual Mardi Gras parade carnival season, or whatever they call it. I am a Mardi Gras rookie. I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not ashamed, but I had a good time, and it was enjoyable. Got a chance to see a few HBCU bands marching in the parades that I attended, and I was proud to see those said bands, and we'll talk about those said bands a little later.
And before we even move on, let's just take a moment of silence for the two people that died in these parades.
Yes.
Endymion, and then someone fell off a float today, but he was expected to be okay. You know, in this parade season, I don't think of all the time for all the years. It has been years, but I haven't heard personally of anybody dying, of such caliber. And it's just like this. I just want everybody to enjoy their Mardi Gras season. So just a moment of silence for those two people. It's just scary to know that you're out there doing good things or out there trying to have good, clean fun, and you look forward to those seasons this season, and that's just what happens. So, praying for those families. Okay.
Yeah, that was our moment of silence and remembrance of the people who have lost their lives in the parade. There was a lady who passed a couple of days ago, and then, like you said, a guy that died, somebody passed and didn't mean to fall out the float. But here's the thing. I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the madness of running up to try to catch those beads, slipping on the beads. And I think that's what happened to the person who passed, and then they slipped on some beads and got caught in the wheels of the parade. And, got to do something to be safer when we're having fun like that. But prayers to those individuals' families. Yes.
Yeah, since I can't be there, I just ask people to send me stuff. I'm that person. Like, can you send me? I'm like, and I'm specific. I want Southern stuff. I want sing. Like, I'm specific in what I ask for. So I'm like, while y'all out there, and of course, like you said, I'm a rookie. But you got those seasoned people that's been going out there forever.
Yes.
So they know what to do.
Most definitely. They know what to do. And me and my friend Erica, my daughter, she's in New Orleans visiting her mom. And so my friend Erica was like, you ought to stay down here and go to a parade. So I kind of let her convince me to go to the parade. Boy, were we unprepared for how much stuff we were going to have. I mean, it was awesome to catch not just the beads, but all of the stuffed animals, all of the trinkets. I had a couple of Jell-O shots, but hey, I had fun. I got out the house. Everybody was saying, Derek, we're glad you got out the house.
That's good.
So let's get down to business. First off, let's talk about this Black College Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony, and of course all of the festivities that occurred on that night. I always say that's you getting the hobnob while I'm down here myself away from everything. But I love to see the pictures you post, because sometimes I feel like I'm right there with you posting the pictures, getting a chance to see through your lens what it's like to be a part of that ceremony, and all just basking in the ambiance of the history, the pageantry that is Black college football, Kel. So tell us about the night and everything that went on.
So I'll start with Friday. Friday they did have an HBCU panel over at the College Football Hall of Fame, and on that panel was Amir Hall, Commissioner Mac Williams, which is the CIAA commissioner, John Grant, executive director of Celebration Bowl and SWAC MEAC Challenge, Sam Washington, North Carolina A&T's coach. I think I got everybody. Yeah, and then of course Jay Walker was the moderator.
I saw that.
Now we started off with that. That was a great experience too. You know, we got a chance to sit there and talk, and we got a chance to, you know, talk about what we fit, or they got a chance to discuss how they feel like Coach Washington talking about the change over to the Big South. And then, of course, they, you know, talking about different things like, you know, what if we could battle it out and have, like, the best of the best between the CIAA, the SWAC, the MEAC, and the SEAC, and we could all play. And Amir was like, bring it on. I was like, Amir really don't want that smoke, but whatever. But it was just a great time. And then, of course, I got a chance to sit down and talk again to Commissioner Mac Williams. And, you know, we just had a great evening. But last night was definitely the better of the two. It is. It's just, you just imagine yourself. You're walking in with nothing but, it's just HBCU greatness. It's all it is. You look at nothing but HBCU greats, and you walk in and it's just like, I'm so small, and I'm like, okay, I'm in here with all of these men, and they're so tall, they're so big, as from what you can see from the pictures with Doug Williams, Harold Carmichael, like all of these people are so, I guess Robert would have been the one that's closest to my size, but everybody else is so big over me. And just having these conversations and just looking at the induction, just looking at all these different people. And the funny thing is that I had been looking for Robert the whole time. And I was like, is Robert not here? And Robert was downstairs. He's like, I've been here like 2 hours, Keisha. I'm like, oh, okay. So, you know, just getting a chance to listen to them all speak and listening to everybody, to, you know, talk about their experience and how they felt, you know, the importance of HBCUs, just to be in that environment and listen to everybody that was inducted into the actual class, because there were only 6 people. You know, it's always just a night to remember. And I think it was even better this year for me than it was last year. And, you know, just listening to Dr. Thomas, which is the MEAC commissioner that was also inducted. Him and I think Coach Taylor were probably 2 of my favorites, because they had a long list of things. But even listening to Robert's acceptance speech was, you know, just amazing, which of course I record. But it was just some great moments at the enshrinement. It truly was.
Yes, indeed. And here's the thing: when you said Amir Hall, I perked up. You know, I love me some Amir Hall, and I'm just a little.
And let me tell you, before you say that, it was so funny when we were talking. I was sitting there with the CIAA commissioner, and I said, my co-host absolutely loves Amir Hall.
Big fan.
And she said, really? I said, he is the biggest fan. And so the other girl was like, honestly, I didn't know who he was. And I told her, well, you know, we watch everything. We have to keep up with everybody. And she was like, I said, I promise you, I said, he is the biggest fan of Amir Hall. I said, if nobody else is his fan, I said, my co-host was his fan.
Because I'm upset at Vince McMahon that he didn't have any team sign him for the XFL. And then I did some research, and he showed out at the combine. And with the we're gonna have to do a show about this. The pitiful quarterback play in the XFL could definitely be helped by HBCU quarterbacks. But that's for another show once I do my homework. But continue about because man, when you talk, I can talk about Amir Hall all day. So, I mean, when you said his name, I was like, oh, yeah, you know.
And it was, again, like I said, and we just got a chance to sit there and talk and, you know, I tell people, you know, he was like, you know, I think we could actually do it. And we were talking about, he's like, you know, I think we have. And for people that don't pay attention to the CIAA, it's just like Commissioner Mac Williams said, their bread and butter is basketball, as to where the SWAC is football. We know that football is on this side. So bread and butter is basketball for their side. And, of course, the CIAA tournament is coming up this week. We're 2 days away, so it starts this week. So we'll get a chance to see. So just to talk about some of those people that actually went. And last night was the largest class, or the largest showing, largest gathering of all of the members that have been inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. So anyhow, last night's 2020 class was Earl Harvey, which of course was quarterback for North Carolina Central. James Hound Dog Hunter, which passed in 2010. defensive back from Grambling State. Of course, Robert Mathis, defensive end from Alabama A&M. Eric Biggie Williams, offensive lineman from Central State. Coach Joe Taylor, which I was just too impressed with him. Of course, he was Howard, Virginia Union, Hampton, and Florida A&M. And then, of course, Dr. Dennis Thomas, like I said, commissioner of the MEAC. And then he was the athletic director from Hampton. Of course, he comes from Alcorn. So it was just that. And I got a chance. I did see Willie Titan last night as well.
Woo-hoo.
And I walked up behind and I tapped him. I said, "Superstar." And he turned around. He said, "Huh?"
He said, "Satellite."
But it was just a great moment. It was just a great moment.
Yes, indeed.
And then, of course, you have now. This is what I found to be very interesting about last night. The Black College Football Player of the Year was Chris Rowland, which was wide receiver and return specialist out of Tennessee State, and of course, he's a senior. The funny thing is that they didn't have the best record.
No,
but this kid was like when I say a show out, it was just like, okay, so of course he was the 2019 Ohio Valley, which is OVC Offensive Player of the Year. His first team all OVC as a wide receiver and return specialist. He led the OVC in receptions, which was 104. He had 1,437 receiving yards, 2,110 all-purpose yards. Like, the 104 receptions in the season set a new HBCU record.
Yeah.
Only Division I player, FBS or FCS, to score a touchdown via kick return, punt return, reception, and rushing. Had 6 games with 200-plus all-purpose yards during the season and was selected to participate in the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl. That kid deserved that award. He deserved it.
Did he?
He deserved it. When I listened to those stats, I was like, yep, he deserves it. Go ahead and give it to him. What was interesting is that last night, listening to this, you had somebody from every conference go in. So you had somebody from the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, and the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, and the SEAC all go in to the Hall of Fame. And then you had him come from the OVC to win Black College. So I think that was like a memorable thing because somebody was highlighted from every conference. I think that was a great thing. It was a really, really great thing. And then, of course, Jabin Hargrove was the pro player, a Black College Football Pro Player of the Year. So I think it was just a really great thing. Really great thing.
Right. I want to welcome my line brother Patrick Perry to the show. How you doing, PP?
I'm all right.
All right. So here's the thing. Like, I had heard of Chris Rowland because he lit us up early in the season, and he continued to light up almost every defense that he played against. And sometimes you have to ignore the records and look at the performance on the field. And when you look at his performance on the field, he did that. Don't get me wrong. We all know what Felix Harper did at Alcorn. We all know what Jermaine Martin did for North Carolina A&T. We definitely know what Ryan Stanley did for FAMU. But Chris Rowland deserved this award. Some people may feel like, oh, he didn't play against all HBCU opponents. So what? Tennessee State is an HBCU. They are in the family. It doesn't matter that the conference that they're in is not an HBCU conference. This is Black college football, and Tennessee State is an HBCU. And here's something I would like to see, and like you said when they were talking about how to settle it across the conferences, I would like to for each, I guess you could say, conference or division to each have a nominee for this award, like somebody from NAIA be a finalist, just so that everyone can be represented. I understand, they have 4 finalists, but I would just like to see a representative from each conference or division for the Division II, and then NAIA, and then just the independents also be recognized for their accomplishments, because it's some good football played at these smaller schools. And you know me, Keisha, since I've been on this show with you, you have preached inclusion rather than exclusion. And PP, you already know we have a fraternity teaching, Cornelia, that means inclusion rather than exclusion. And that's something that's important to me, that I would like to see. And of course, I definitely would like to see that set it on the field. We've talked about it in the social media groups, and people always bring up, oh, that's Division II. Man, look, I still feel like that those Amir Hall-led squads would have given anybody from the SWAC and the MEAC problems. So unfortunately, we can only see it. We can only think about it in our minds and can't see it on the field. And just want to congratulate Chris Rowland on his award. I hope he continues his play in the NFL. I would love to see him. He's perfect for my Kansas City Chiefs. He looks like a Tyreek Hill type of wide receiver. Send him on to the Super Bowl champs. We will take him. So, oh man. So, Keisha, talk to us about what else happened on the night. I saw some of the pictures you posted. Talk about some of the other HBCU legends that you happened to come across during this weekend.
Of course. I would say, of course, I did. I came across Doug Williams. Of course, I came across Harold Carmichael. Robert Mathis, of course, was, that's a given. Mm-hmm. James Shaq Harris. I do always laugh and say, some of my favorite. This is so funny. Like I said, so I did get a chance to talk to Akil Blunt, which is Mel Blunt's son. And for people that don't know, Akil did undergrad and grad school at Florida A&M, and he also played football at Florida A&M. Now, his current position, he works for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so he's in Kent. So, I was like, okay, so that interview. I was like, that interview coming, right? It's coming. So we did like a candid shot. We did a candid interview last night that I hadn't posted yet, but he did say that when they come to Baton Rouge that they're going to handle business again. I said, okay, we will see about that because it ain't happening like that. I mean, we lost in Tallahassee. We lost in Tallahassee, but you would not win in Baton Rouge. So that was, another person that just got a chance to sit there and talk to. Funny moment, I did. I ran into Coach McNair and Felix Harper. And I'm the same person. When I see coaches, people that I'm familiar with, and so Felix says, Felix Harper, and I started laughing. I said, I know very well who you are. And he just kind of looked and started laughing. I said, we know who y'all are. Trust me, but they are. They're super humble. They're great kids, and it's just great to see, like I said again, to be in the mix of those people. Now, I wasn't too happy when Doug told me to take off my Southern book bag.
I saw that.
I got a chance to laugh with him. I got a chance to laugh with a whole bunch of Grambling Tigers. There's a lot of Grambling people in there.
Oh, yeah.
I had a chance to talk to a lot of those people. So, it was a great time. It was a great time at the Black College Football Hall of Fame.
Yes, indeed. And hopefully one year I'll get a chance to make it so I can hobnob with you. But
and I told Steve White she owes us an interview. He owes us an interview. He said, okay. So,
all right. So we ready to jump into sports updates in the SWAC?
Before we go, let's take a commercial break and then come back to it.
We'll be right back with more Black College Experience after 31 seconds.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
All right, we're back with more Black College Experience. We just gave you an update on Keisha's weekend at the Black College Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. And, before we go to the SWAC, Kentucky State and Miles. I got a chance to see them march in the, I think they were in the Iris Parade. So I was mighty proud to get a chance to be there. And when I started calling, they were like, "You know who we are?" Like, yeah, I know who y'all are. I said, I'm on the Black College Experience podcast. Like, oh yeah, we heard about y'all. I said, yeah, man, I'm excited to see y'all here You know, I was like, we could rename this the SEAC Parade, you know? So it was good to see those two HBCU bands represent in New Orleans for HBCUs and for the SIEC. So, sports updates in the SWAC. First off, we're going to talk about, before we talk about basketball, indoor track and field championships. And there was a 4th consecutive sweep, Kels. So why don't you let everyone know who won the indoor track and field championship for the SWAC for the 4th consecutive time across men and women.
Listen, I keep telling Jennifer, I'm sick of Alabama State. I'm tired of them winning. I asked her, was they tired of winning? They're not tired of winning. Whenever you see a boomerang coming, it's definitely Jennifer. So once again, Alabama State. And people laugh at me when I say Alabama State has the most complete program. I miss it because they keep winning. They win in the non-traditional sports all the time. This is why the Commissioner Cup keeps coming to them, because they keep winning in those sports. So once again, Alabama State secures it. Like the here said 4 times in a row. I mean, they could give somebody else a chance, but since they're not, Alabama State will let y'all continue to hold the reign over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and I mean, to win 4 consecutive, the women have won, I think, 12 consecutive. That's just a type of dominance that you don't see often. You know, I mean, you know, you just and you have to give kudos to head coach Richie Bean and Anuk Christians. I mean, they're dominant right now in track and field. I mean, and Coach Bean is a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, our fraternity. So we're going to have to definitely get him on to talk about how he has built such a dominant track and field squad for Alabama State. I mean, you know, the men and the women just dominant. And congratulations to the student athletes who, you know, on the women, the individual championships, the pentathlon, women, Sophia John, UAPB, men, heptathlon, Tristan Ham, Prairie View, women, weight throw, Bridget Williams, men, long jump, Clem Campbell out of UAPB, men, pole vault, Soon Rodriguez Weems out of PV, men, shot put, Caesar Kemp out of ASU, men, high jump, Marcus K, ASU, women, long jump, Kasia Roberts, Prairie View, women, 3,000 meters, Naomi Prop, Grambling, men, 300 meter, Abdi Hussein, ASU, women, discus medley, Alabama State team, men, discus medley, Arkansas Pine Bluff team, men, 6 meter dash, Norris Spike, women, 6 meter dash, Charminique Hackney, ASU, men, 60 meter hurdles, Chris McNair Jones, JSU, women, 60 meter hurdles, Samaria Lovett, men, 200 meter dash, Sean Collins, women, 200 meter dash, Nyasha Robinson, Alabama A&M, men, 400 meter dash, Sean Collins, Jackson State, women, 400 meter dash, Nyasha Robinson, again, Alabama A&M, men, 800 meter run, Allen Johnson, Jackson State, women, 800 meter run, Michaela Lewis, ASU, men, 1 mile, Abdi Hussein, ASU. Oh, that's a lot. Man, just go ahead and get Philman Bean, Naomi Keep Up again, Jonathan Iwulu, Devin King, Jeremy Bash. Congratulations to all of you on a successful track and field season on the indoor side. I know you're going to be ready to run in the outdoor as well. So it's always great to be able to give kudos to champions, especially champions in the SWAC, Kels.
There's a lot going on. It's just dominant. Again, Alabama State is dominating. They've dominated 4 times in a row. Says a lot about their program and a lot about their training. It's so funny because after this conversation, so many things are running together. You got baseball, track and field. You got you got softball. It's so many sports that run together. Bowling, tennis, all of it's running together at the same time. And you get lost. One thing is closing, another thing is opening it up, and it's just like I can't even keep up with all the things that's going on. But it's so exciting. Again, because, people be like, oh, no one pays attention to it. Somebody paying attention to it. The people keep winning the championship, and at the same time, people at school on scholarships.
That's right. That's definitely right. Now, ready to jump over to the hardwood, and I have to apologize to Jackson State University women's basketball coach, Tamika Reed. It's my fault. I feel it's my fault that they lost the Prairie View, because earlier that week I called them the Goldbergs of the SWAC. A play on Bill Goldberg with their undefeated streak, and the next game they played, they lost. So I'm sorry, my bad. But just like any true championship coach, she got her Lady Tigers off the mat, and they won their next game. So just run over this week's scores as far as the women's basketball is concerned. And come on, Internet. All right, of course, Jackson State got back on the winning side, defeating Grambling 82-59. Our Delta Devils lost to Texas Southern. Lady Devilettes lost to Texas Southern 86-79. Your Lady Jazz continued their dominant winning ways, beating Alabama State 61-51. Alcorn State fell to Alabama A&M 64-50, and UAPB lost to Prairie View 69-54. Let's look at the women's standings right now. And my bad, Keisha, I didn't post it. Right now, of course, Jackson State is still the leader at 13-1, followed by Your Lady Jags at 11-3, Texas Southern 10-3, Alabama A&M 9-4, Prairie View 7-6, Alcorn State 7-7, Alabama State 4-9, UAPB 4-10, Grambling State still missing Chicago Hill. They are 2-12, and we're at the bottom, unfortunately, PP, at 1-13. And the SWAC Women's Player of the Week is Atia Bridges for Texas Southern. She averaged 20.5 points, 3.5 assists, and 3.5 steals per game. So congratulations to this young lady. She scored 26 points in the starting role versus Jackson State, and then scoring 15 points off the bench versus Grambling State in 28 minutes of action. So she is the SWAC Women's Basketball Player of the Week. So congratulations to her. On the men's side, let's see here. Get this up.
So here, and we see the Jackson State to me, because they have been playing really great basketball, and it's something to say that you're going. One thing I do want to revisit, the Grambling State Tigers, and like you said, they're missing Chicago Hill. Never would have predicted that Grambling would be where they are in their mark. Southern coming off of tournament champs last year, with Jackson State coming right in behind. So it's kind of like they switch places, and it might come down to the two of them as we get ready for SWAC tournament in about 2-3 weeks over in Birmingham. But it's just different to see that what's happening. And I think, at any given moment, the tables can turn. It just takes somebody to get hot at the right moment. You get hot at the right moment is when you peak, and then everything starts happening. I just say probably Jackson State might have had just an off night. Maybe had just a bad game, and Prairie View had a great game when they beat them. But I think it's a great thing. We had some undefeated teams in some other conferences, but I think just that night they might just had a bad game that night, and Prairie View had a good game. But I think they are Jackson State is playing. They're just playing really good basketball right now.
Yes, you're right. I mean, the transfer from Mississippi State, Amisha Williams, has been the dominant player for Jackson State, but they have 5 young ladies who can beat you. If one of them has an off night, someone else picks up the slack. So they're a very dangerous team. And a lot of people felt like they would lose a game, but hey, I mean, they're still a very good team. They just, like you said, they had an off night. Now for the men, on this past weekend, our Delta Devils lost a close game to Texas Southern 94-92. Your Jaguars defeated Alabama State 56-44. Grambling State defeated Jackson State 63-61. Alcorn State fell to Alabama A&M 71-61. Prairie View defeated UAPB 69-61. And the standings for the men, Prairie View on a 5-game winning streak is leading, 11-2 in the conference, followed by Texas Southern at 10-3. Sean Woods is doing way better in year 2, Kels. Has Southern number 3, 9-5 on a 3-game winning streak. Followed up behind Grambling and Alcorn State, both with 8-6 records. Alabama State 7-6. Jackson State 7-7. Alabama A&M 4-9, and pulling up the rear, Arkansas Pine Bluff and Mississippi Valley State both at 2-12. PP, that's not a good connection because we know who the coach is for UAPB. You know, that's a double valid connection there. We don't like that. You know what I mean? What you think about that, PP?
I was hoping that Alabama and A&M keep losing because, even though we're in last place, we still in it, because we swept them. So we just need them to drop a couple of games and we'll be okay.
Yes, indeed. So, Kels, what do you think about these men standings so far?
What I can truly say is that I'm glad that my Jaguars have done better than they did last year. I am glad to see that.
You can say you're welcome.
Lord knows. Yeah, so Coach Woods in his second year is doing what he needs to do. Again, I'm glad to see that it does. It looks better than it did last year. And this is like, the thing is that you tell people you have to give it time. But with Prairie View, Texas Southern, again, those were the two people that battled it out in the SWAC tournament. So to be expected. But with Southern coming in third, I'm pretty excited about that. But Alabama A&M I thought would have been a little bit stronger. Jackson State I thought would have been a little bit stronger. Just not proving to be in that case. But again, like I said, anybody can get hot and they can peak at the right time, and you see what the run is. And as we close in the gap and get ready for the SWAC tournament in Birmingham, we'll see where it goes. And that's another thing that I think people need to experience. It is different from when it was in Houston, but being in Birmingham, now it's in a different venue. And the great thing about it is that I give it to Commissioner McClellan. When I say the man does what he needs to do as far as vendors and marketing this tournament, this man markets the tournament. And I say he's the hustler is what I call it, because he gets it done. He has a work ethic that I have not seen in other. Yeah, I've never seen that work ethic in like a lot of commissioners, and he gets it done. So he does market this actual tournament very well. He markets it really well. It's a lot of vendors. It's a lot of stuff. And, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in Birmingham. Really excited to see what's going to happen in Birmingham.
Who knows? If we able to sneak in there, maybe we could pull an upset on everybody. Who knows, PP? Who knows? All right, so we're ready to jump over.
I'm not going to count it out because anything can happen at any time. So I never say no, because anything can happen at any time. We've seen these 1 points, 2 points, and when we get over to the CIAA, we'll talk about this, how people getting upset and people getting upset on these basketball. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right, so now we're going to run through the women's basketball in the MEAC. And right now in the MEAC, the Bethune-Cookman is running things. They are 12-1 in the conference, followed by Norfolk State at 10-2. North Carolina A&T and Morgan State both at 9-4. Delaware State 8-4. Howard and NC Central both at 6-6. Followed by Coppin State 3-11. Maryland Eastern Shore 2-10. South Carolina State 2-11. And ineligible FAMU 3-11. The MEAC Women's Player of the Week The co-player of the week are Keechi White, North Carolina Central, Chance Graham, Coppin State. Rookie of the week, Anissa Rivera, North Carolina Central. And she's also the defensive player of the week. So she is an outstanding rookie. I mean, winning rookie of the week and defensive player of the week. For North Carolina Central to have two players win awards, I think that's awesome. The week scores, Coppin State fell to Delaware State. FAMU falls to Norfolk State. North Carolina A&T defeated Howard. North Carolina Central defeated Mardi Eastern Shore. And Bethune-Cookman defeated South Carolina State. On the men's side, North Carolina A&T, we got to see them on TV last week, and they ran through that. Yeah, that was a rivalry. That was between them and NCCU on national TV, and they ran through NCCU like a buzzsaw. They are 10-3, and North Carolina Central is right behind them at 9-3. Also, Norfolk State is 9-3. Bethune-Cookman and Morgan State 8-5. South Carolina State 6-7. Coppin State 5-9. Mardi Eastern Shore 4-8. Delaware State 2-10. Howard is defeated in conference play 0-12, and FAMU sits at 9-5. Unfortunately, they are ineligible. So, Kels, what do you think about the men's standings in the MEAC? Did you think NC Central was going to be able to catch A&T?
I don't know. They might be. You know, there'll be another battle on the hardwood because, you know, they battle it out on the football field. So let's see if they can battle it out on the basketball court. It is, like I said, but once again, you get heated at the right time and you get the peak and we can see what happens. And then, like I always say, it's those 1 point, the 1 point thing that upset. The 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, the last.
You don't like close games. You like blowouts. Let's go ahead and say it.
I don't like for people to lose 67-68 or 63-62 or, you know, 1 point games are heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. I would rather lose by 10 or 5 or something like that than to lose by 1. That's a heartbreaker. So, you know, I do. Again, we're gonna see what happens. Happens with the MEAC. There it's just well rounded with North Carolina A&T, so we're gonna see what happens over on that side.
Yes, indeed. And the men's players of the week in the MEAC, Cameron Langley out of North Carolina A&T. Rig of the week was Deshaun Phillip out of Maryland Eastern Shore. And defensive player of the week was Latrell Pope out of Bethune-Cookman. And ready to jump over to the SEAC. And first off, we have to apologize. Last week, when we were talking about HBCUs in Ohio, we mentioned Wilberforce, but we forgot about Central State. So, Frat, don't beat me up.
I think Patrick said he said Central State. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pat, that's a shame. How we don't know when Patrick's going. It's ridiculous.
Hey man, we're human. We can forget things, and we also forgot to talk about, and it was on our list. Central State also named a new head football coach. Bobby Rome II has been named the new football coach at Central State. He's a former collegiate and professional football player. Comes to CSU with 6 years of head coaching experience. So, Brome spent the last 2 seasons serving as head coach at the University of Virginia Lynchburg. So, I mean, he's been in HBCU ranks, but he's now has a team where he can give scholarships. So,
while we're go ahead, I'm sorry.
He did improve Virginia University Lynchburg a lot. I mean, the year Devontae Kincaid play them, they gave them all they could stand before falling. So, go ahead, Kels.
I'm gonna say while we're right here on the Martyrs, while we're here at Central State, of course the second annual Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic, which will return to Canton on Sunday, September 6th, which is, of course, Labor Day weekend, will be Central State versus Howard. So, of course, they announced that at the Hall of Fame enshrinement. So that's who will be playing. Central State and Howard will be playing in Canton this year.
Awesome. Awesome. So, congratulations to Coach Rome. I mean, hopefully he can, get Central State, vying for SEAC championships. I mean, in his first head coaching stop in the SEAC. So I guess we'll see what happens. So before we jump in basketball, Kels, you always like to talk about sports that we don't get a chance to talk about much. And this here is a sport that Morehouse is blazing a trail with. They are the first HBCU with a polo team. Now, I mean, you have HBCUs with swim teams, with wrestling teams. Now we have an HBCU with a polo team. And, I think that's awesome, even though I'm not a good at riding horses, so I probably wouldn't definitely be good at polo. But I'm glad to see this sport come to an HBCU where these young men and women who have a desire to play this sport can get some recognition. So, Kels, what do you think about Morehouse being the first HBCU with a polo team?
So the funny thing is, when they actually started breaking this last year, when I actually started talking about this last year, because it was all around the pageantry with seeing that you have, the first HBCU to have a polo team. And the thing is like I tell people, it's traditional Morehouse. It's Morehouse. So if you're around Morehouse people, you'll understand Morehouse. And I spent a lot of time with Morehouse. So to me, it's something they would do. Now, I can see a Southern or Mississippi Valley or Grambling or Jackson State doing this, but a Morehouse, this is right up their alley. And just to see that they've actually moved into this, it was co-founded by Atlanta entrepreneur Miguel Wilson, and of course, some students from Morehouse. And what's funny is Caleb Cherry is one of my friend's daughter's teachers, and that's the first thing she said. So again, it started in 2019. It started last year, and full force, everything is taken off. And it was suggested that they started, but it's just crazy because it's not something that people would think about. It's not something that people would think of, just like, okay, it's not a basketball or baseball or, a track and field or football. It took us a while to adjust to swimming. So now we adjusted to swimming. Then we had to adjust to lacrosse and cross country. Now we're coming with polo. So these are non-traditional sports that we know some people somewhere are going to watch. Now, me personally, because I'm here in Atlanta, I'm definitely going to go catch it, even if it's just one time. I'm going to be that one person trying to go somewhere and watch polo. So I'm going to have to read up on it and study it before I go, so I know what I'm looking at, talking about it, and understand what's going on. But I think this is just awesome, again, because it's Morehouse. I understand it's traditional Morehouse, in my opinion.
Exactly. And PP, I mean, do you ride horses?
No. I'm trying to see Christopher Walker. When he unfortunately fell off a horse back in the day and broke his neck and died or whatever, man, that killed everything as far as.
I have a horse story, a riding horse story to be why I got rode into a pond on the back of a horse, and the horse wouldn't stop. And all I remember is they had to come get me out the pond because the horse just stood there. So I would never have been a good polo player because me and horses don't get along. I mean, no. So congratulations to these HBCU student athletes. I hope this sport is a success. I can't wait to see, Kels, some of the videos you're going to be posting with polo matches with the Morehouse Polo Club, Morehouse Polo Squad, with this being the first team in history. Look out, other schools who have polo teams. Morehouse is coming for you. So, hey, now on to the hardwood. All right, so now Standings in women's basketball in the SEAC. Benedict is killing it in the East, 13-2, followed by Fort Valley State at 9-7, Savannah State at 7-7, Payne 6-9, Clark Atlanta 5-10, Albany State 4-11. In the West, Miles reigns supreme at 11-5, followed by Tuskegee 10-5. Central State and Spring Hill are both 8-7. Lanes at 7-9. Lamar on at 6-8. Kentucky State at 4-12. So, Kels, what do you think about this? Benedict squad is picked to win it. So, what do you think about the SEAC women so far?
Well, I've got a chance to watch Savannah State. I got a chance, of course, to watch Clark Atlanta. And I did. Just watching CNA, I thought it would be a little bit different. But again, like you said, looking at the Benedict, it is. But the one thing that I do know from watching CX basketball, anything can happen. Even that year back in 2018, I'll use an example when Morehouse was undefeated in the first round of the tournament. They were out. It's just so anything can happen. And of course we've all had our picks when things happen, what can happen, and all it takes is for one team to have a better game and another team to have a off night or somebody to want it more, then things could shift. But I guess we'll have to see what happens at this point.
Exactly. And on the men's side, Albany State and Clark Atlanta are atop the East, both at 11-5. Savannah State 9-8. Morehouse 7-7. Benedict 7-9. Fort Valley State 4-12. Payne 3-13. Miles on the west side is leading, 14-2 record, followed by Tuskegee 12-4. Central State at 10-7. Lamar on at 7-9. Spring Hill at 6-10, and Lane and Kentucky State both at 6-11. And the players of the week in the SEAC. On the women, you have Takara Gilbert was named Player of the Week, while Tasia Fanning, Fort Valley State, earned Newcomer of the Week. For the men, Romaine Thomas, Clark Atlanta, was named Player of the Week, while Tyler Henry Lane earned a Newcomer of the Week. So, Kels, what do you think about these men's standings? I mean, is anyone going to be able to catch?
So when you talk about Romaine Thomas is out of New York, and he was one of my favorites. He was injured all last season, so he did not play. So going back, and I don't know, I know you remember when we interviewed, I can't call the coach's name at the moment. It's like everything is fuzzy to me. But when we interviewed the coach from Clark Atlanta, name escapes me at the moment. Goodness. Yeah, the name escaped. Like it's right
NBA
there.
Player.
But this was a coach from Clark Atlanta. He played for Clark, and now he's in Arkansas. So it escaped me at the moment.
I can't think of his
I
name.
can't.
It's not Walker.
I'm going to call him Anthony, and that's not it. But anyhow, he was like the ultimate recruiter for New York, because he's from New York. He played and he came to Clark Atlanta, and so he had his whole stint at Atlanta. He played for Atlanta. He was a assistant coach from Atlanta. He was an interim head coach for Atlanta for a short period of time, and then he came back. After that, he ends up leaving Atlanta to go coach. He ends up going to coach in Arkansas with the old coach. So Romaine Thomas would have been one of his recruits. And so to see that Romaine, like I said, he was one of my favorites. To see him actually be that player, because he's from the Bronx. To see him actually, do was a great thing. Now, one of the funny things that people don't know, I want to say Calvin White. Now, I think I'm calling this might be the right person. Calvin White, I want to say this might have been, I think he's a transfer from, I want to say he might, I want to say it's either him or somebody, is a transfer from Prairie View. So I didn't know that until like later on in the season. But one of the favorites to watch was a guy, Colin Bell. Colin Bell was a forward center. He was from Los Angeles, California. And he was a sight to see. He was a great person to see. So hopefully Clark Atlanta can come through and pull this out as well. Funny thing about them, their tournament, they moved their tournament from Birmingham to South Carolina, which is interesting to say the least. I'll refrain from commenting, but they did move their tournament.
Yes, indeed. So now we're ready to jump into the CIAA. But before we talk about this week's game, like Kel said earlier, the tournament will be starting. Single elimination tournament will be held in 2 venues this year at Bojangles Coliseum, February 25th and 26th, and the Spectrum Center, February 27th and 29th. And the brackets, the brackets. On the men's side, opening round will be Claflin versus Elizabeth City State, Lincoln versus St. Aug's. Then in the quarterfinals, Virginia State will await that winner. Bowie State and Livingstone will battle it in Game 4. Johnson C. Smith and Fayetteville State. Well, Johnson Smith awaits the winner of Lincoln and St. Aug's. Then Shaw and Fayetteville State will battle it out, and Virginia Union will wait on that winner. So then Winston-Salem State will wait the winner of Bowie State versus Livingstone. So it's postseason basketball coming up this week, in the CIAA, and can't wait to see. I'm trying to see if I can catch a few games. Hopefully they'll be on ESPN Plus. So I would love to see some of those games this week. But on the hardwood, go ahead, Kels.
The CIAA, I have to just props to Commissioner Matt Williams for what they do, because you can stream all of their games. You can stream their games. I'm like, yo, we need to step our game, but I want to be able to watch anything and everything, because we're not close to I'm not close to my school, so I'm like, okay, if I can't get to these games, can I at least watch them online? Can I watch them on TV? So the thing is, they're on Inspire, so you can actually, if you have Inspire, they will be on TV. So if you have Inspire, you will be able to catch them. Because they stream all their things. But I do, when I say the future is female, that hashtag is double for her, because she is doing what she needs. She is really handling business in the CIAA. All the different things that has happened, the digital stuff, the stream, everything is all her. Everything. I did not realize. I was like, so how do you feel about the move to, moving the CIAA? And somebody was like, oh, it was her idea. She moved it. Oh, my bad. Okay. So she's doing a lot of great things in the CIAA. Yes,
indeed. So, with the tournament starting this week, Kels, here are the final regular season records for the men. Virginia State 12-3, Virginia Union 11-4, Bowie State 8-7, Lincoln, Pennsylvania 5-10, Elizabeth City State 4-11, Johnson C. Smith 13-4, Winston-Salem State 12-4, Fayetteville State 10-7, Claflin 9-8, Livingstone 5-11, St. Aug's 5-12, and Shaw 2-15. So who you think gonna win this tournament? Who would you like to pick, or you want to wait?
I want to wait.
All right, so on to the women's side. All right, in the opening round, you have Livingstone versus Virginia State, and the winner of that game will play Virginia Union. Then you have Bowie State versus Shaw, and the winner of that game will play Johnson C. Smith. Then you have Elizabeth City State versus St. Aug's. The winner of that game will play Fayetteville State. And then you have Winston-Salem State versus Claflin. And the winner of that game will play Lincoln, Pennsylvania. On the women's side, I'm going to pick Lincoln. They have had a tremendous season. To run down...
You pick?
Lincoln.
Oh, Lincoln. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Lincoln. On the women's side. Records are Virginia Union 13-2, Bowie State 12-3, Lincoln, Pennsylvania 12-3, 6-9, Elizabeth City State, and Virginia State 4-11. On the Southern Division, Fayetteville State's 15-2, Johnson C. Smith 12-5, Livingstone and Winston-Salem State both at 7-9, St. Aug's at 5-12, Shaw at 2-15, and Claflin at 1-16. Here's the thing. everybody gets to the tournament and looks like in the CIAA. I would love for that to happen in the SWAC, but hey, maybe we need to take a page out of
that way a couple of years ago.
It was?
Yeah.
It was.
So
it was. They just restructured it. That's true. It was.
All right. So we got about 5 minutes left. I do want to highlight in the GCAC. Got to talk about them right quick because we don't hardly ever get a chance to talk about the GCAC and the players of the week in these respective conferences. All right. On the women's side, the player of the week is Ciara Pettis out of Philander Smith. This young lady is a senior guard out of Memphis, Tennessee. Let's see here. Men didn't come up. I guess they changed it to the conference on me. So let me go in here. Okay, here we go. Player of the week is William Lloyd out of Xavier. He's a senior forward out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And let's see here. I also want to give kudos to Coach Thomas Billups out of Tougaloo College. He has his Bulldogs atop the GCAC once again. And Talladega women are leading in the GCAC. So they're going to be getting ready for their conferences, for their tournament soon. So I definitely want to give kudos to the GCAC. Because I love watching those games when I get a chance to watch them. Going to New Orleans this weekend, getting a chance to pass by the campuses of Xavier and Dillard, because I'm going to have to try to make sure I go to New Orleans more so I can check out more of their games. It just lets you know how close you are to HBCUs with me being here in Baton Rouge at Southern and then having Suno, Dillard, and Xavier all in New Orleans.
Is that their battle this weekend, Dillard and Xavier? Is that this weekend coming up?
I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it is because it is. It's this weekend coming up, so it's their battle of the Hardword or their homecoming this weekend coming up.
So yeah, let's see here. Got it up.
Yeah, I know they had asked me to come down, and I was going, and then I realized it's our 50th. Like our alumni ball this weekend. I was like, I can't come. But they had asked last year, so I think I'm almost certain that it's the same.
That's going to be the 29th, yeah. And your 12th annual All-State Sugar Bowl Blue Devil Classic. Yep. So, got about 2 minutes left in the show, so okay, let's go ahead and close us out.
So before we close out, just for people that don't know, there is something big that can go on. Over on April 3rd, we're looking at the actual, they're going to have what's called, and this is so interesting. I get to witness this because I'm here in Atlanta, but they're going to have the HBCU All-Star Experience. So this is on Friday, April 3rd, at 7 p.m., of course, at Forbes Arena, which is at Morehouse College. It's an all-star game, and it's basketball. So the MEAC will be versus the SEAC, and then the SWAC will take on the CIAA. So for people that want to come to that game, they do have tickets and everything on sale right now. You can find that at www.hbcuallstargame.com. Of course, I will be in the building because this is an inaugural event. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. It's an interesting pair that they paired us with CIAA, which I guess they think we're the stronger two, and then they did the MEAC and the SEAC. I guess I don't know how they paired these up, but I will be over at Forbes Arena on April 3rd to see what actually goes down.
Awesome. We want to thank everyone for joining us and listening to our podcast. Again, we are your podcast. We want to be your voice for HBCU sports on Sunday nights. So, thank you.
Derek, are you off work? Are you off for Mardi Gras? Are y'all off for Mardi Gras?
I'm off on Tuesday.
So I think you should go to Zulu, and I think you should get Southern stuff and Saint stuff. Yeah, that's what I think.
I've had enough parades for 1 week.
You said that's enough. I understand. Yes, it is exhausting.
No.
It's exhausting.
I mean, actually, it wasn't really about the exhausting. because we didn't really, we actually got there, had pretty good parking. You know, my good buddy Erica, we got through traffic pretty well. She navigated as best as she could with the heavy traffic. So getting to the parade wasn't exhausting. It was just, you know, being out there in the elements, chasing down beads and stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got hit in the head with a couple things that I wasn't too happy about. But that's another story. You know, we can talk about that. Me almost wanting to lose my temper, go chase down a float. That's why I don't need to be in no parade. I need to be at home.
That's funny. That's funny.
But I enjoyed myself, and like I said, we want to thank everyone for listening. And we are out of here. Peace out.
Good night.